And this is my universal emulation controller. I've got a lot to cover. I'm going to go fast. You get the drill. I've recorded this like 3 or 4 times now, and this is going to be a pain. So yeah, identifying and understanding. Value proposition's also here. Older consoles and game controllers are starting to fail out as hardware deteriorates, and a lot of that stuff isn't really something we can repair or fix because a lot of the stuff used in it is out of print, be it CRTs or just old chips used in stuff like Atari controllers. We can hypothetically recreate. We can. It's not hypothetical. We can recreate the controllers for modern consoles and emulators, but typically buying that sort of thing costs an arm and a leg, especially if you're going to try and buy one for all of the old game consoles to accurately recreate inputs and things like that. And because of that, I tried to create something that you'd only have to buy once alongside the inputs to actually do that. I have my decision matrix here, which is also part of that. Initially, I wanted to be able to swap the inputs here and have take out your 4-button input for, let's say, like a modern Xbox controller and swap it out for a 6-button for something like a Sega Genesis. But that's not something I was able to do in the time frame. I think I could have given 2 or 3 more weeks, but nothing that I can do there. Bit off more than I can chew. The first 2 sections of my decision matrix weren't relevant. The last part is, and that's regarding where the actual touchscreen is. And then designing and building. Made a bunch of circuits in Tinkercad, built inputs using VAX parts, found out there was an Arduino, learned I had to make CAD, did CAD, wired all my Arduino, programmed each part in isolation, Frankenstein all the parts together. You get the idea. Tinkercad's up there, regular CAD's in the right, and then you see VEX, soldering, and wiring in that order at the bottom. The wiring is for this board here, which is all put together now, and you can see the final of that. And then logbook. Boom, aspect ratio shifted. OBS is weird and I'm completely new to it. Here you see a list of all the inputs I'll need, and then actual pictures, what I did day by day. You get the idea. I electrocuted myself a few times, it's whatever. So yeah, now I'm going to transition to actually using the serial monitor to show off what I've made. So to begin, there's a lot to cover, so I'm going to go fast for this. There is the analog trigger here, represented by the slider, which is similar to what's used in the GameCube. And it has elastics, analog, everything. This is one of the first things I programmed because it was pretty simple and a pretty good basis for everything else. You move this, and it should print, yep, it prints the serial monitor, and that shows you that it works, it's an input, that's all you really need for that sort of thing, right? I hope so, at least. It's here. I wasn't sure if that showed up before. And then I have a button used in most controllers. You press this, prints to the serial monitor, button go, you get the idea. And then the rotary encoder that's really only used on the Magnavox Odyssey, but it's still something. And you turn it, you see that it actually shows direction, values in that direction, all that. You can reset it by clicking it, and then, yeah. Analog stick, you can see it prints the X and Y values for everything. That works. I wish I could get the click to work, but it's really finicky, and I have no idea what it is about it that makes it that way. You can't see it well, I don't think, but there are 4 buttons here for a D-pad. I wanted to get the D-pad to work, but the wires got in the way. I have a functioning print that I made a while ago that would go over these buttons and make it work like a D-pad, but once again, wires got in the way. Not something I could really do. But you can see they do work. Up prints to there, bottom, it shifts the wires and that leads to stuff, but yeah. So that's the base inputs there. And then, now for the more complex stuff. I have my, let's see, starting with the full board, I guess, yeah. Upload this. Okay, this is NFC, I guess. Oh, wait, plug in the wrong one. Okay, this is my NFC controller. Boom, upload this. Cool, it's uploaded. I've got a bunch of stuff now. You can see it read the tag, all that. Put the tag on. It should eventually output. It's finicky because the tag isn't actually a good one. But I promise it works. I don't know if it's going to work today because technology seems to hate me right now, but that's whatever. I don't. Okay, whatever. It works, I promise. It outputs a value, but that's the most I can do when it decides to hate me. I guess I'll double check with the other NFC thing that came with it. Anything. Anything at all. No, okay. So, done with that for now. I promise it works. I wish it would work consistently, but c'est la vie, I guess. I don't know. Here's most of the rest of the board going on there in 1 second once it finishes compiling and uploading. I couldn't get the NFC full board and motion sensor to work properly all in one just because they were a mess, and it would flood with data or not show enough, and it would be a bunch of stuff and way more than I'm able to go over to and showcase in this time period. But yeah, so there's that. As you can see, microphone works. It's outputting a bunch of values as I talk, so that's going to be something that you'll see popping up a lot, and I hope that's not a problem. But yeah, and that's representative of the microphone on those controllers. I have a photodiode here, or not a photodiode, a light resistor, and that prints a lot of values when you get close, and you can see them showing up on the mic isn't being the worst and finicky, but like you can see it in there once or twice, I think. The light sensor works, that recreates stuff from like NES Zapper, SNES Super Scope, all that. And then we have the infrared detector, which is used in stuff like the Wii primarily, but it's also used in things like the 3DS. So if I have this, there are a few things that go into that. Primary one, you kind of have to look for it, but it does sometimes show. Like it decodes the signal, but it's also very finicky. Anyways, yeah. But I also unintentionally programmed a distance sensor, which I actually needed for a few things, so it's helpful. It prints with the mic variable. I have no idea how. I'm not going to be able to explain that in reasonable time frame here because I don't know how I did it either. But yeah. And then I also have the rumble motors, which are used in a bunch of things. But basically, I have a lot of control over these. I need to, or else they fry the battery. But if I crank up each of these sliders, you can see the one up top starts shaking. This one here, it does the thing. You get the idea. It's a lot. But yeah, I believe, where is this one wired to again? Yeah. And then also bigger one, this produces a lot more rumble. It's on this side here. You can see all the sliders and stuff and the mess of wiring that I wasn't able to organize well. But press this, it takes a couple, needs to actually be spinning to go for whatever reason, because it eats up so much power. But you can see now it goes like that. It shakes a lot more. And then the motion sensor is a mess of code, and I don't fully understand it because I primarily downloaded it from the manual for the thing. But that is this guy here. It has a magnetometer, or gyroscope and accelerometer all in one. You can see it printing values to there. It also has a temperature sensor, and it prints each of the values. There's 3 axes for each, plus the temperature. And you can see, turn this, you get changes and stuff as it prints. But yeah, there you go. That's all of that. And lastly is the one that doesn't actually print to the monitor here, that I have a cool setup for. I have strings here that run within to hold it in place and also let me pull it out, is the touchscreen. Ta-da! This is one of my favorites because it works really well, assuming I can get it out of the box. Okay, so then, assuming I plug in the battery here, see it works like this. Have my stylus, it actually has a slot there because I thought that was cool. And that's also held in place. And then this actually works well. You can draw a smiley face. You got full colors. This is primarily showcase that, hey, it's a touchscreen. It works. And that's the most important part here. But yeah, so I think that's all my inputs. I hope this is good enough because I have so much going on here, and I put a lot into this project, and I had so much fun making it. I honestly kind of hope I can redo this and work more on this in my second semester project, but I'll find that out later, I guess. Yeah, there we go.